The resettlement of Syrian refugees since the civil war began has divided communities across our country. The process to get to the United States is lengthy, but it's also under scrutiny.
Just a few of those refugee families have made Panama City their new home. News Channel 7's Leanna Scacchetti met with two local families to learn how they came to the United States and what they have planned for the future.
Short? Yeah, short. Long? Long. Short. Okay?
For the Al-Casey family, most of their days now are spent starting over.
Bananas. Bananas, okay?
Today, it's an English class, but not every day is as simple as the ABCs. The Al-Caseys are Syrian refugees. Father Nasser and mother Rahab and their 7 children have been in Panama City for a little more than 6 months. Life is different here, but so far, they say, life is better. They're from a small village in the district of Daraa. Nasser worked as a psychology teacher and says life for them was normal. But soon, war began to take its toll. Their house and the school endured bombing and power outages.
Our house destroyed completely. Thanks God we were outside. Our house was next to the highway and bombed by Syrian regime. The schools were hit. Mosques attacked the next week. Some of the students, when they were going to the school, were killed. There are a lot of strikes, but people kept going to school.
The family of Ahmad and Farida also sought refuge in the United States after leaving Syria in 2011. They've been in the U.S. for about a year. They're from Raqqa, east of Aleppo. Ahmad, a construction worker by trade, said he wanted his family to leave when the protesting began.
I am happy that I made it to get my family out and not make my children witness any war.
He went to Jordan to find a new home, but when his family tried to join him, they were denied repeatedly at the border.
Do you remember leaving Syria?
Kind of.
What do you remember about it?
Only that whenever we came to the border and we went back.
Were you ever scared during that time?
I guess, yeah.
Eventually, Farida and the children made the trek through the mountains with hundreds of other refugees, leaving everything behind. Every single minute, Farida says, they heard bombs and planes flying above them. It was chaos, she recalls, people running through the mountains, and they were scared. After 2 days, the family arrived in Jordan, staying in one of the early refugee camps for a few days.
We couldn't sleep. All the flies, it was dirty, we were in the street, and I was shocked how I can make my kids in this situation.
The family lived in Jordan for several years while applying for relocation to the United States.
Not even half of those referred to the U.S. are accepted by the Department of State.
Betsy Welly is the coordinator for Immigration and Refugee Services with Catholic Charities in Panama City.
In fact, many, if they had the opportunity, if their country were safe, they would not have left in the first place, and they would go back.
She says to be considered a refugee, people must be fleeing persecution. Then they have to apply for refugee status with the UN High Commission. Once designated as a refugee, they can be referred to a particular country and begin the lengthy process to get there.
Every single interview was about 6 hours. They had to know everything about us.
After years of interviews, medical exams, and background checks, the family learned they were going to America.
I will never forget that day.
Orientation began, and the families prepared for travel.
So that's where we come in.
Welly says Catholic Charities is one of 9 relocation agencies in the country. For the first 3 months, she helps them find housing, school, food, and clothing. She says they're thankful for the assistance.
They show me pictures of their houses and they cry. But it's death or life somewhere else. Those are the options.
Ahmad says he spends a lot of his time searching for work and relies heavily on his eldest son.
I'll go with him and translate, because I have to make appointments and fill out papers. Proud of myself.
The families acknowledge the fear many Americans have about people like them coming to the United States.
We are like any family.
Syrian people are hard workers and love peace and love life. I would that peace be upon all the world. They took us and gave us a chance and brought us here. And we have to give them back. And I hope that my children will be doctors one day who help people and engineers who will build this country. Even myself, if anything I can do for this country, I will, because we are really happy here.
Both families have high expectations and high hopes for their future life in the United States. In Panama City, Leanna Scacchetti, News Channel 7.
Well, he says in the last 12 months, 4 refugee families have relocated to Panama City. The 2 families from Syria, one from Iraq and one from Burma.
1 year after arrival, refugees must apply for permanent residency. If they don't meet the requirements, they can be deported.
You can find more information on this process and learn more about these 2 families on our website, WJHG.com.